This is 60 Seconds for Sunday from the monks of St. Benedict's Abbey.
I've been reading recently a commentary on the rule by Terence Cardone. Specifically, I've been reading about humility. He traces back from St. Benedict's rule, the sources of Benedict's teaching on humility, all the way back to the Bible. And what I found really beautiful about his description of this was his distinction of two Greek terms in the New Testament and in Greek society that were used to describe humility. On the one hand, there's tapeinos, which is a lowly mentality, a despised characteristic because it was associated with slaves and the hardness of their life, the lowness of their life. And on the other hand, the Greek noble would have also, living humility, would have lived praus, or gentleness towards one's inferiors. And Cardone goes on to say that these two, tapeinos and praus, are incompatible. You would never see them in the same person. What's remarkable, of course, about Christ is that he inhabits both. In the New Testament, in Matthew's Gospel, he uses the Greek word tapeinos and praus, both, for Jesus. And this is a blending of the human and the divine. The human meaning all of the suffering, all the pain, all the dirty and rotten things that we can throw at each other, including the objectively wrong structure of slavery. All of that Christ takes on in his humanity. But on the other hand, he has this richness of his divinity, which exhibits this praus, this gentleness towards one's inferiors. What we are called to as Christians, taking on the likeness of Christ, is both these depths of tapeinos, this degradation, all the pain in our lives. Christ has taken it on. And then we're called to the richness that he has as the divine being that he is, this richness of divinity. And this humility is the exact opposite of what the disciples are talking about in the gospel, the second half of today's gospel, where Christ comes in and says, "What were you talking about?" And they didn't say anything because they were arguing over who is the greatest. So Christ puts the child in their presence and says, "You must become like a little child." That's the path, that's the avenue to the humility that Christ himself embodied and lived and demonstrates to us. A humility, a wisdom that the world can't fathom, where we are not torn down and blown up and destroyed by the pain and suffering that's in our lives. We're free to take it on. We're free to bear it with the goodness that Christ has. But we also receive the richness of his divinity and the gentleness and the meekness that can come from that. So this Sunday is a good Sunday to pray for humility in the Benedictine spirit, to receive from God the fullness of his life, both human and divine.
For more from St. Benedict's Abbey in Atchison, Kansas, see our website, kansasmonks.org.